What if I told you? The moment you stop caring is the exact moment she starts. That the second you disappear, she begins to question everything she thought she knew about you. You see, she didn't walk away because you were average. She walked away because you made her your everything. You showed up too much, texted too fast, cared too deeply, and in a world where people value what's rare, you became predictable, easy to reach, easy to dismiss. But here's the part she never saw coming. You were never weak. You were just in love. There's a difference. And now, that love is gone, replaced with silence, control, discipline. And that's when everything shifts. That's when she starts stalking your profile, rereading old messages and wondering, did I mess up? She thought you'd chase. She thought you'd break. She thought she had time. Nope. You vanished like a ghost, not out of pain, but out of power. Because when a man taps into Stoic strength, he becomes untouchable. When he masters detachment, he becomes unforgettable. This isn't about games. This isn't about revenge. This is about power. Your power. You've spent enough time trying to prove your worth to someone who couldn't even see it. That ends now. This video is your blueprint, from heartbreak to dominance, from emotional chaos to complete control, from chasing to being chased. So if you've been ghosted, heartbroken, discarded, or replaced, good. That pain is your signal. It's time to become the man who doesn't need closure, the man who doesn't need to be wanted, the man who becomes so rare, so in control, so detached, that he haunts the memory of everyone who took him for granted. Because the truth is, the less they hear from you, the more they wonder, the more you disappear, the more they desire. And the second you stop trying to prove yourself, you become a god in their eyes, out of reach, out of touch, and 10 times more powerful than before. So let me ask you again, what if you stopped caring? What if you stopped chasing? What if you became the man you were always meant to be? If you're tired of being seen as disposable, if you're done waiting for closure, if you're ready to become unforgettable, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Now let's begin. Number 1, the illusion of importance. She thought you were average. Not because you were, but because you handed her the script and let her direct the entire story. You became predictable, comfortable, safe. She didn't have to earn your affection. You gave it to her like oxygen. Every time she called, you answered. Every time she flaked, you forgave. Every time she pulled away, you chased harder. And with every move, you made it clear she mattered more than you. That's where you lost her. Not in your looks, your status, or your ambition, but in how quickly you made her your priority without making yourself one first. That's the illusion. You thought love was sacrifice. You thought availability meant commitment. But in reality, it read as desperation. In her eyes, you weren't a challenge. You were conquered. She knew she had you. And the moment someone knows they've won without effort, the game becomes boring. That's not cruelty. That's human nature. Stoicism teaches us, attach to nothing, control only yourself. But when you wrapped your identity around her attention, you gave her the keys to your emotional world. You thought consistency would win her over. Nope. It just made her take you for granted. The compliments, the effort, the time, you gave them before she earned the right to receive them. You inflated her value and diminished your own. Now it's time to reset the balance. You stop chasing and start choosing. You choose silence over begging. You choose presence over panic. You choose self-worth over validation. The man who detaches with dignity becomes 10 times more powerful than the one who clings in fear. You don't need to cut her off with anger. You just vanish into excellence. You level up in silence. You go ghost, not for attention, but for evolution. And here's the twist. When you stop trying to prove your worth, that's when people start to notice it. You become the one who doesn't need anything, and that's the most attractive force on earth. So remember this. She didn't think you were average because of who you are. She thought you were average because of how you acted. That ends today. If you're done making decisions from a place of weakness, if you're ready to take back control, comment below, "I reclaim my throne." Number 2. Pain is a gift. You felt it in your chest, the silence after she left, the constant replays of what you said, what you did, what you could have done differently. You stared at your phone hoping for a message that never came. And in that darkness, you told yourself you were broken, weak, rejected. But here's the truth most men never learn. Pain isn't your enemy. Pain is your teacher. That heartbreak, it's the fire, the forge, the beginning, not the end. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you who you were pretending to be. You thought being soft would win her. You thought loyalty was enough. You thought love alone could make her stay. Nope. What you got back was silence, distance, and confusion. Good, that's the signal. Because if it still hurts, you're still learning. That pain is proof you cared, but it's also proof that now you must evolve. In Stoicism, we don't avoid suffering, we embrace it, we use it. The Stoic doesn't cry about the storm, he becomes the storm. That ache in your soul, it's your body telling you it's time to level up, to change, to build. Let that pain push you into the gym. Let it fuel your grind. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you never again will you give someone the power to destroy you from the inside out. Because one day you'll wake up and it won't hurt anymore. Not because you found someone new, but because you became someone new. You didn't just survive heartbreak. You used it to upgrade your mind, your body, and your soul. That's power. That's discipline. That's the difference between a boy chasing love and a man commanding respect. She might have walked away thinking you'd fall apart. Let her, because the next time she sees you, whether online, in person, or through the whispers of mutual friends, you won't be the same man she left. You'll be colder, wiser, more grounded. And suddenly, it won't be you who lost something. It'll be her. So take that pain. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Let it burn. Then rise from the ashes a man who bends but never breaks. If you're done letting pain define you, if you're ready to use it as fuel, comment below. My pain builds my power. Number 3, vanish strategically. The most powerful move isn't loud. It's not a dramatic goodbye or a final message begging for closure. The most powerful move is silence. You vanish, not out of weakness, not out of revenge, but out of power. Because here's the truth. When you're always available, you're forgettable. But when you disappear without explanation, you become a question mark that haunts their mind. She expected you to text, to chase, to argue. She was ready for drama, not discipline. But when you go ghost, when you withdraw completely and without emotion, you interrupt the pattern. You deny her the reaction she was counting on. And that silence screams. It's not indifference, it's strategy. It's detachment with precision. Stoicism teaches us to act, not react. And the act of removing yourself is not about getting her back. It's about getting yourself back. When you vanish, you're not hiding, you're healing. You're building in the shadows. While she's checking your story to see if you're okay, you're already 3 steps ahead, cutting distractions, upgrading your value, and mastering your emotions. Dark psychology confirms this. The mind obsesses over what's missing. She'll wonder why you disappeared. She'll check if you moved on. She'll create stories in her head to fill the silence. You don't have to block her. You don't have to post thirst traps. You just have to do one thing. Stop giving her your energy. Withdraw it like a king reclaims his crown. Because when you stop being her emotional supply, she starts to feel your absence like a void. This isn't ghosting for fun. This is disappearing with purpose. Not to punish her, but to protect your peace. To remind yourself that you don't chase anyone who treats you like an option. You're not walking away bitter, you're walking away better. So vanish, quietly, fully, no explanation, no parting words. You don't owe them a final chapter. You owe yourself a new beginning. If you're done being predictable, if you're ready to become unforgettable, comment below, "My silence is my power." Number 4, kill the need for closure. Closure is a lie. It's the fantasy we chase when we don't want to accept reality. You want her to explain why she left, why she changed, why she ghosted, why she replaced you, why she stopped trying. But let's be real. No explanation will ever make it feel right. No conversation will erase the disrespect. Closure isn't something she gives you, it's something you decide to create. You sit there, scrolling, staring at your phone, waiting for an apology, a message, a sign. You replay everything, hoping there's a hidden clue, but all that does is keep you locked in her energy. She moved on. She closed the door without looking back. And here you are, begging for a reason she's never going to give. Nope. That ends now. The Stoic doesn't wait for someone else to validate his pain. He processes it, owns it, and lets it go. The closure you're waiting for, it's not a text. It's a choice, a decision to stop bleeding over someone who isn't even holding the knife anymore. You want clarity? Here's your clarity. She didn't value you the way you deserved. That's all the reason you need. Dark psychology tells us that people who ghost or leave without explanation often do it to avoid accountability. They don't want a conversation, they want to vanish guilt-free. So chasing closure, that just keeps feeding the very ego that discarded you. You're not chasing answers, you're chasing peace. And peace never comes from the same place that hurt you. Let her wonder why you stopped trying. Let her regret the way she ended things. But don't stand there holding the door open to someone who already walked away. You want real closure? Here it is. You stop needing it. You close the door yourself, and you lock it from the inside. This is where your power begins. Not when she comes back, but when you no longer care if she ever does. If you're done searching for answers from someone who gave you silence, if you're ready to move without looking back, comment below. I close the door permanently. Number 5, master emotional control. She triggered you, maybe not with words, but with silence, with distance, with that sudden shift from "I miss you" to "I need space." And you reacted, you got emotional, you panicked, you begged, over-explained, sent paragraphs trying to fix what she had already mentally walked away from. But let me hit you with something real. Every time you react from emotion, you give away control. Every time you let her behavior dictate your peace, you hand her the steering wheel to your life. That's not strength, that's slavery. And Stoicism, it's built on the exact opposite principle. Emotions are to be acknowledged, not obeyed. You can feel everything, anger, confusion, heartbreak, but your response. That's where the power is. A man who can control his emotions in chaos becomes untouchable. She expected you to spiral. She expected to see you break. But when you go calm, quiet, focused, that's when you start haunting her thoughts. Because she can't read you anymore. She can't push your buttons. And that mystery, it's deadly attractive. In dark psychology, emotional stability is dominance. People are drawn to those who remain centered no matter what. That's why emotional men get discarded. They're too easy to manipulate. But a man who can sit in silence, feel pain, and not lash out, that's the man she regrets walking away from. Because he's not reactive, he's disciplined. So next time she tries to provoke you, ignore you, confuse you, don't engage. Don't post for attention. Don't play games. Play yourself into a stronger version. You don't prove anything by overreacting. You prove everything by staying in control. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the silence after the storm. Be the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't break. She'll remember that. Because emotional control isn't just power, it's rare. And what's rare gets respected. If you're done letting emotions wreck your progress, if you're ready to become the one who decides your state of mind, comment below. I master my emotions. They do not master me. Number 6. Build in the shadows. Now that she's gone, you have two choices. Sit in the wreckage or rebuild in silence. Most men choose the noise. They post quotes, play sad songs, stalk her online, try to prove they're fine while they're falling apart. But not you, not anymore. You don't announce your pain. You transform it, quietly, ruthlessly, without letting anyone see you coming. You hit the gym, not for revenge, but for resurrection. You cut distractions. You stop responding to texts that lead nowhere. You stay low, stay focused, and stay dangerous. You don't need to show progress to feel it. You don't need validation from strangers when your reflection tells the whole story. Because when you build in the shadows, no one can sabotage it, no one can downplay it. You become a different beast entirely, one no one expected, especially her. Stoicism isn't passive. It's discipline in its purest form. It's showing up for yourself when no one claps. It's lifting heavy when your heart is heavy. It's choosing growth over grief every single day. She left thinking you'd collapse. Nope, you're just getting started. While she's entertaining the next guy, you're leveling up, physically, mentally, spiritually. And by the time she notices, it's too late. You've outgrown her. You've outgrown who you were with her. Dark psychology confirms it. The less they see, the more they wonder. Let her assume. Let her question. While she's busy looking backward, you're already building your future. Let your silence be your strategy. Your glow-up will speak louder than any text ever could. So don't flex, don't post, don't explain, just become. Become the man you promised yourself you would be the moment she let you go. The man who doesn't need attention to feel powerful, because his grind is his peace. If you're done making noise for attention, if you're ready to evolve in silence, comment below. I rise without permission. Number 7. Scarcity equals value. You were always there, always replying fast, always making plans, always available. And guess what that taught her? That your time wasn't worth much. When something is too easy to get, it loses its impact. That's human nature. We don't crave what's always there. We crave what's rare. You weren't weak. You were just too accessible, too predictable, and in her mind, that made you average. But now you learn the law of scarcity. When you become harder to reach, you become harder to forget. When you stop chasing, when your presence becomes selective, everything about you shifts. Your silence becomes weight. Your absence becomes noticed. Because people pay attention when what was once free suddenly costs effort. This isn't about playing games, it's about protecting your energy. Stoicism teaches us to place value on what we control. And your time? That's your most powerful currency. Stop handing it out like it means nothing. Stop replying to every message, showing up at every request, entertaining every breadcrumb. You're not cold. You're controlled. You give presence, not desperation. You become the man who moves with purpose, not emotion. Dark psychology proves it. People value what they feel they can lose. So you give space. You give mystery. You let them feel the void you used to fill. Because only then do they realize what they had. And even if they don't come back, you come back stronger. more disciplined, more respected, more focused on things that actually matter. So pull back. Let them feel your absence. Not to punish, but to elevate. You don't demand attention. You command it through discipline and distance. That's how you flip the dynamic. That's how you become unforgettable. If you're done giving your energy to people who didn't earn it, if you're ready to protect your presence, comment below. My value is in my absence. Number 8. Never chase, only replace. She pulled back, and you chased. She went cold, and you overcompensated. She started talking to someone else, and you tried harder. You thought proving your loyalty would win her back. Nope. All it did was confirm her power over you, because chasing someone who's walking away doesn't make them stay. It just makes you look weaker. It kills attraction. It tells them you don't see your own worth unless they approve of it. But now, you don't chase, you replace. You replace attachment with purpose. You replace insecurity with discipline. You replace her absence with progress. You stop trying to convince her you're worth it, and you become so focused on your evolution that anyone who left starts to question why they ever did. Stoicism teaches you don't control others, you control yourself. So you stop trying to fix what doesn't want to be fixed. You stop investing in someone who's already decided to walk. You turn your back with the same silence they gave you and pour every ounce of your energy into something that pays you back. Your mind, your body, your mission. And here's what dark psychology says. When you stop reacting, when you stop chasing, when you walk away without a word, that silence burns. It lingers. It plants doubt in the mind of the person who thought they had you locked in. The more detached you become, the more they wonder what changed. That's the reversal. That's the shift. You don't need closure. You don't need revenge. You need a higher standard. If she couldn't see your value, that's her loss. You don't chase people. You chase your potential. And in that pursuit, you either attract someone who sees your worth, or you stay solo until you do. So walk forward without hesitation. You're not bitter, you're better. And better doesn't beg. If you're done chasing what was never meant to stay, if you're ready to elevate instead of explain, comment below. I don't chase, I choose. Number 9. Indifference is power. You used to care too much. Every unread message, every shift in her tone, every delay in her reply, it all hit you like a wave. You overanalyzed, you obsessed, you spiraled, because deep down you believed that if you could just do enough, fix enough, prove enough, you could win her back. But here's the truth you probably didn't want to hear. The moment she knew you cared more than she did, the power shifted, and not in your favor. But now, you step into the mindset that flips everything. Indifference, not hatred, not bitterness, indifference. You no longer react, you no longer wonder, you no longer wait. Because indifference doesn't mean you feel nothing, it means your peace matters more. When you stop needing a response, when you stop hoping for her to notice you again, you become dangerous. Because now, nothing she does can shake you. Stoicism is built on this exact principle: control the internal, ignore the external. You master your peace by letting go of what's out of your hands. You become the man who doesn't flinch when she posts with someone new, doesn't text out of boredom, doesn't entertain drama just to feel something. You stop playing her emotional games because you've left the arena entirely. Dark psychology tells us that once someone feels they've lost their emotional grip on you, their perception of your value rises. You don't have to show her what she lost. You just have to stop reacting. And suddenly, the man who once begged becomes the man who's untouchable. That's not cold. That's evolved. That's next level. That's power. When you move with indifference, you're no longer chasing her. You're chasing peace. You're no longer affected by her moves. You're building your own playbook. And the moment she realizes she can't reach you emotionally anymore, that's the moment she starts to feel the loss. If you're done being emotionally predictable, if you're ready to live above the drama, comment below. Indifference is my armor. Number 10. Become the man she lost. She thought she could walk away and you'd stay the same, that you'd sit there stuck, frozen in time, still thinking about her. But here's where the story flips, because you didn't just survive her leaving, you used it. You took the pain, the confusion, the silence, and turned it into your rebirth. You became the man she never thought you could be. This isn't about getting her back. This isn't about revenge. This is about becoming so focused on becoming the best version of yourself that her memory becomes irrelevant. The gym isn't therapy, it's armor. The discipline isn't distraction, it's your foundation. The silence you walk in, that's peace, that's power. That's what happens when a man stops begging for love and starts building a life that doesn't need it. Stoicism teaches us to suffer well, to take loss and transform it into growth. And that's exactly what you've done. You stopped asking why she left and started asking, what's next for me? You stopped seeing yourself as broken and started realizing you were just unfinished. You didn't become the man she wanted. You became the man she wasn't ready for. And here's the cold truth. When she sees who you've become, when the beard's sharper, the body's tighter, the mindset stronger, the glow real, she's going to feel it. Not because you rubbed it in her face, but because you didn't need to. Because the man she left behind, he's gone, and in his place stands someone who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break. He builds. Dark psychology says people rarely miss who you were. They miss the access, the attention, the control. And when that's gone, that's when they start remembering. But by then, you won't care. You're not trying to make her regret it anymore. You're too busy becoming everything she thought she could do better than. So don't become her lesson. Become your own legacy. That's the real win. That's Stoic strength. If you're done waiting to be chosen, if you're ready to become undeniable, comment below. I become what they can't replace. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't wait for closure or cling to memories. You vanish like a god. You build in silence. You master your emotions. You rise from pain, not with revenge in your heart, but with purpose in your steps. That's Stoic strength. That's what she never saw coming. And by the time she realizes what she lost, you'll be long gone, standing taller, colder, sharper, untouchable. Every heartbreak is an invitation, not to crumble, but to conquer, not to prove yourself to her, but to yourself. This isn't about being loved, it's about becoming powerful. Stoicism isn't detachment from life, it's full engagement with reality without letting it control you. She walked away? Good. That was the beginning of the man you were always meant to be. Let this video be your turning point. No more emotional slavery, no more chasing, no more shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone. You're not average. You just forgot who you are. Now you remember. Now you move different. And now, when they think of you, they feel your absence like a shadow that never leaves. If this hit you deep, if you're ready to step into the strongest, most stoic version of yourself, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I walk alone, but never in weakness. This is Stoic Blessing, where men don't just heal, they evolve. I'll see you in the next one. Stay focused, stay sharp, stay untouchable.